stay cheap. Be everything that you know you can be. Oh yeah, you gotta stay funky, gotta stay chic. Be everything that you know you can be.
Family folks, near and far, thanks so much for pressing play today as we continue our exploration in the topic, what is missing in humanity. We focus on community today. This is not a critique, but a cosmic invitation to rethink what we're misaligned and how we may realign with something larger than ourselves. Today, my guest is Pastor Michael Bell of the Peace Baptist Church in Northeast Washington, D.C. Family folk, indeed. I'm glad to talk to him. We've been really excited about preparing for the show. So much that when we got together that I just had to press record. And here is the magic that happened. Yeah, that's what it was.
It talks about this idea of morphic resonance, that there are these reverberations that take place throughout a communal consciousness, that we're all connected in a way that we pick up on very, very similar things. It's not just a me thing.
Yep.
And I think, the prevailing question of our conversation as to what might be missing, I think, is exactly what you're talking about, and what other people are centering on is a sense of belonging, and community. I don't know, because we've lived in an atmosphere, and quite honestly, our current context is so divisive. I don't know that we have had time enough with the tools to figure out what community calls for. And it's actually what you are suggesting, this level of belonging, of course, to be sure, this communal notion, but also that comes with accountability. There is an ebb and a flow. There's a rhythm to the way community works. Everybody isn't going to agree. It doesn't mean that we're not in community.
Absolutely.
But we have to have ways by which we are able to have those conversations, navigate indiscretion, navigate different choices, different value systems, different ethics.
Living with difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not necessarily to demonize it as well.
Yes.
Because that's the other thing about belonging and community. I think what most of us interpret it to be is that it is sameness.
Yes.
And it is not.
Opposed to the harmony in the difference of it.
Yes.
It's like understanding it's the relationship.
Yes.
You're not like me, but the likeness of you is what I choose to embrace.
Indeed.
So it's not the sameness, but it's an alignment.
Yes.
So it's expressing and understanding what's not preferred, but identified.
And I mean, and when you sit with it, when you grow through it, when you mature with it, when you get comfortable with it, you recognize that those differences are so necessary for me to be.
Yes.
For me to be.
Yes.
I tell, well, first I'll go to this. I had, we have a social worker who's a part of our congregation. We were in a church meeting, and I kept using the language boundaries.
Okay.
Because I was also trying to navigate the congregation through this period of transition, which was going to create this need for accountability. And so I started this discussion on boundaries, and man, when I tell you, she read me in the meeting, and she says, well, I hear you, Pastor, and I understand what you mean, but it's not just boundaries, it's also harmonies that we should be searching for. It's the connections of the differences that provide the strength.
Okay.
In community. And I was like, man, you better preach. Go ahead. I mean, because that is it.
Because we're quick to separate.
Absolutely.
But once we identify, how do we bring that together? So there's a value to the distinction.
Absolutely. And it's real, it's visceral, it is messy, it is because it requires growth. It requires growth from whatever side of the supposed chasm you may stand on, it takes that kind of growth. It is, I have neighbors, they are a same gender loving couple, right next door. And when I tell you I love these brothers, I love these brothers. And I had hesitated for so long for them to find out that I was clergy, because I did not want.
Interesting.
I don't. It's definitely not something I lead with in any conversation.
Okay.
Preacher. Oh man, the whole atmosphere shifts.
Of course.
And but one of the joys that I have is in my opinion, within my neighborhood. I live in a large neighborhood. They are one of the most beautiful families you will ever see. I mean, they are raising 2 young black boys. And I guess we've been neighbors 6-7 years now since they've moved in. And when I tell you the kind of joy, I have never, not once, seen these little 2 boys not running around with a smile.
Okay.
And it gives the kind of joy to me. Now, mind you, I live right across, I don't know what in the world, how I ended up on Preacher's Row. I've got one bishop down on the corner across the street. I got another pastor in the apostolic tradition. They recently had another pastor directly across the street. And then I got the good old Reverend Doctor who's looks like he's about 103 years old, right down the corner. So it's just this one strip of just sanctimony and holiness and all of this kind of carrying on. And I can be outside, you know, on my porch with a group of friends, smoking a cigar, sipping on a little communion. And enjoying life. And it was not until they saw those kind of inflections that were a bit different that they approached me in a different regard.
Gotcha.
It's like, so those, it was, I don't know where this part of the conversation went, but anyway.
No, it's all good.
To the point of difference, I think that's what it's about. I think it is about maturing in the appreciation of diversity, that actually creates a stronger belonging within community than us trying to stake our claim as to what is right and what is wrong, which has a lot to do with actually my own studies, my studies in decolonial theory. My answer, if anybody ever asks me a question to just about anything under the sun, my answer is always the same. Colonialism. It's always my answer, because the world that we live in, I think one of the things that makes it so difficult, why it is hard to sense another humanity, to appreciate diversity, to appreciate difference, to see it as necessary, to see it, if you are someone who is spiritual, to see it as divine imprint, is because of the framework in which we live. We live in a society that is largely created through the efforts of colonialism, racialized capitalism, and all of these other things which that commodify and place value on everything but those aspects of humanity that belong to us. So we don't value
thus
them in the same way.
Dehumanizing.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. I see you as a thing. Can't remember the scholar who came up with that, but thingification, that's what it is. It's when you objectify, you dehumanize.
And you don't consider the person as the person, things that affect the person, things that are tied to the person, that have other persons they have, you know, brought into the world, and you have that lack of sensitivity. And now we see it more, I think, with social media. These things are so much more instant. I was looking at something last week and I was like, I figure all this has been going on all along. We just now bombarded with it. That it's happening so quickly, you know, from what's happening in our administration, nationally, in other countries, other cities, in our own city. And at some point, it's like, is this all just really always going on? Are we constantly bombarded with angry fights in the street? You know, people are aggressively driving. And the thing, I'm just sitting like, I would never even want to be involved in that. Like, yo, go do your thing. If you're that mad, I'm gonna get off the road. You can have all that. It just wouldn't reach that far. But at some point, you know, engaging it, you can get tired. You know, some of us are just a step away from making that.
Absolutely.
That postal decision.
Absolutely. Without question.
Because you just get, at some point you get tired, you get fed up, and you're thinking, why do I always have to fight, defend? And it goes back to something that we were talking about offline when I was talking about, you know, growing up in church and didn't really step away. The work I was doing took me away from being able to be consistent in that fellowship. And I found myself on the road, and I didn't carry the persona that I carried in the world, in the industry. And Joe, I was just rocking as I was, but I saw the gift and the ability still doing this thing. I was like, okay, so this is just not attached to that. But I still found my ways to belonging, identifying who I was, the value of that, not tied to the popularity of it. And I realized, okay, this is real. We can do this, but only to find myself a little deflated when I guess returned back to the familiar. It was so pretentious.
Yes.
It lacked progression. It wasn't in touch with the things I had found in the world, and I started seeking more. What was at home was what I left 15 years ago. People were doing the same things. It was getting them nowhere. And almost criticized for not just getting back in that hamster wheel. And I was like, nah, life is... By that time for me, I had gone through a divorce. I had lived life in a much different way. And I couldn't. I was like, I don't even see it the same. And so for me, the alignment was different. It was like shaking off toxicity, people in life. Had to let it go. People that had taken time and built solid relationships. So I thought, and no, I did. They were solid relationships based on where I was at the time. They served well, and I needed that. But life changed. It no longer served the purpose. They weren't willing to grow and move forward, and I wasn't willing to stay where I was. And I reconciled that, and it's fine. There's no judgment. But then what's next? You know, then now finding my tribe. Where do I belong? What do I do? And I became smarter, sharper, discerning, understand, intuition clear now, not to claim people so quickly, not to give those things away so quickly, and understand. But then also I think more critical, not to be so judgmental in that, not to be so hard in the assessment. To be kinder, to be more mindful, to be more considerate. And just to be more focused on my assessment of what that means. Because there's still value in connecting with people. And it doesn't mean it needs to be longevity to that. Let's make the connection, let's build into this, let's find this, move forward. And I found more peace in it, and I'm still finding my way through. But then these moments and pockets show up where, because I understood that when you now run into something that has more longevity or peace, you can appreciate it. And you don't need it in volume. You just need it in integrity and loyalty.
I mean, it's. I was listening to. I can't remember. I'm always reading through something, listening through something, so it's hard to track all of the authors all the time or speakers. But they were talking about, this was a credible, certified professional in their field. But they were talking about the evidence of a healed nervous system. And how it evidences itself when you are in alignment, when you have found that place. What someone who whose nervous system has found calm and peace.
Yes.
How
it's settled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it needs. It doesn't need to be out front. It doesn't need to be seen. It's not looking.
Doesn't need to be recognized, seen, acknowledged, esteemed. It's just settled.
It's settled.
It's like still water.
Yes. It has found its place in the balance.
Yeah.
This is one of the things that I love. I do a lot of studies of indigenous psychologies, indigenous spiritualities, and this is what our folks long before. We're talking about pre-colonial traditions and ways of knowing what they really got right. Doesn't matter what tribe, indigenous community, they're all doing the similar thing, and they're finding it as they look in nature and see how all of the varied elements of nature. You can talk about the elements of water, fire, wind, all of that. You can talk about the aspects and characteristics of the sky and the land. You can talk about our non-human kin, the animals and the insects, the whatever system, whatever world you're talking, all of it is found in a way that is interconnected, and they find their rhythm in the larger scope of things. And I think that's what most of us are searching to get, where you're journeying, and if we did, we would find much more healing for ourselves.
I think that's the angst, Pastor. I think that's what I'm feeling. It's an awakening, and it's reaching beyond, because before it was fighting the healing to where I had been. And so now that I'm settling and it's at peace, I'm in the cut. I'm coming just in the cut, like I'm good. That's not bothering me. Even like the waters I had used, it's settled. And there's only a much larger thing in the earth that causes that water to swell and move out. And so I'm at that point now, like, it's got to be so much bigger to align with beyond the immediate moment in my space, what I can see and touch, and it's so much broader.
Well, I mean, it's like you said, we had a conversation a couple of days ago, and we were talking about how all things are connected. And I think one of the beautiful places and spaces of healing and finding that balance, residing in the environment of still water, one of the traditions that I'm a part of communicates that water remembers. Water knows wherever you have been. It remembers. It was here before we got here. It will remain after we are long gone. Water remembers. And so because of that, the length and breadth of that, when you find that space, to me, the place of maturity within that is sort of, I think in ways connected to what you're talking about as far as the awakening, because once you get to that space, you recognize that it is all connected. And once you get to the limits of whatever your world is, you recognize that it's still even connected to something greater, bigger, and broader. When we were talking about the elements of the earth, we're talking about nature. We're talking about these spiritualities and these epistemologies, these ways of knowing that our foreparents did, trafficked in. But then outside of the earth, science educates us with regard to gravity, with regard to the light and heat from the sun and the moon, and how that push-pull is what actually creates the dance of the waters with the gravitational pull, so that the ebb and flow of life, I thought that there was a cause and effect that I could see, but no. What was the Holiday Inn clerk who had to deal with this discriminatory old white woman calling him the N-word? I'm sorry, it's above me now. It's above me now.
It's above me now.
And that's what you begin to see in these places of of disconnection,
Yes.
of
Yes.
of the damage, the violence,
The tension,
all of these things, the tension, the angst.
Yeah.
You're looking at this, but you're longing to find the connection. Why is it in our world there is this force that is so disruptive to people's lives, and I think often missed because we are so clued in to what is going on with me that we miss that much of what is going on with me is directly connected to others.
Yes.
Wow. And not to be a preacher about it, but the Bible says.
Yeah. Oh,
Lord. All of these things are always connected. When the Pharisee comes to Jesus and asks the question, what is the greatest law? What is the greatest commandment under the heavens? He says that you love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength. But he said the second is likened unto the first, that you love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
Which expresses to me the healing that we are in search of is not individual or isolated.
Yeah.
It is the work of community.
Yeah.
It is the care and compassion for neighbor. It is seeing the God and the divinity in my neighbor, even if it is difficult to accept some of the ways of my neighbor.
Can I attempt to deconstruct that in a way that, is it possible for me to see that in my neighbor if I don't see it in myself?
Well, to be sure.
I mean, if we can first find that, and this goes back to the healing, the peace, or just the self-awareness. If I can certainly see it in myself, or again in water, let's use that. Identify experiences I've had, pain and losses, and just identify and be aware and settled in that, then I certainly have an abundance of grace and consideration and mindfulness to my neighbor. I shouldn't have to have that experience to extend that consideration. And you find people mainly in the position is not until they've had to walk that walk to be mindful of what that experience is, opposed to just, you know what? I was coming here today on the way here, and a gentleman was walking across the street, and it was obvious he was having some mobility issues. And immediately I got concerned because he was moving so slow. I was concerned if he was going to make the portion of the street on the side I was on. I didn't think he was gonna have enough time for the other side, and would people be considerate of it. But he almost stumbled, and my hands completely flew up in the car like I was going to catch him, because it looked like if he had stumbled, he was gonna be down. It was a whole moment for me in the car, and whatever that was me reaching out.
Yes, sir.
And so just that, to some degree, you do that with people. You remain in touch with others beyond yourself. And a lot of times, a lot of what we're throwing on other people, it won't be so hard. It won't be so difficult to know a neighbor and say hi and say hello and be considerate and be mindful. Always thrown off when something is not cool. Everything has its ebbs and flows. Sometimes you need to check somebody.
Indeed. That's a part of it.
But
absolutely.
And that's the balance.
Yes.
Again, we never want to live in the difference, because we're always living the extreme. We always got to go full extremes. Like, every situation requires a different response, and that's accountability.
Absolutely.
And we got to a point now where everything just goes. I'm like, no, we got to match the moment where it is, I think.
To your point, I think one of the things that makes it so difficult for us is because we do not begin where our elders and our ancestors began. Because of, here goes back to my answer, it's always colonialism. Because of the framework that we live in, and because coloniality and capitalism do this thing where we are brought into the world to believe that we are individuals and we are to stand on our own, and we are supposed to find the answers for ourselves, that it's always my journey. That was not a thing in the days of old.
Okay.
We began in the days of old with a communal psychology.
Okay. Okay.
In fact, if you were to, there is the principle Ubuntu, which is commonly heard, particularly in Pan-African or Black liberation spiritualities and theologies. You hear this term, which is I am because we are, or this nomenclature that my identity is basically found and rooted in the we, not
the I.
just the I
Okay.
or the me. And I think when you get to that space, that's why belonging, I think, is so critically important. Because when you find your village, when you find your community, then you have now at least a good starting point to begin to tool in a way where it is a lot easier for you to identify the humanity in others and to identify the desperate interconnectedness that I literally do depend on you. Your wellness is so critically important to me.
Okay.
And because I am so vested in your goodness, I will also, it is my responsibility to hold you accountable to when you threaten, because when you threaten the harmony of the community by your foolishness, you threaten me. So it's seeing all of that. I just think it is terribly hard, and I think
it's our approach to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the approach is because we don't start from this place of we, it makes it so much difficult because everybody's out here on these journeys. That's what's so critically important about, regardless of what kind of faith tradition you come out of, or spirituality that is practiced. It is, in my estimation, critically important to do so in community. Now, it can be dangerous if those individuals who are charged with serving these communities are not credentialed, informed, educated in a way, if they cannot see that some of the stuff that they are saying is detrimental and they don't even know it because they're just going with, well, what's the trend in churches now? But that's part of the hardship of trying to really do the real work in an organization like this. Because we have to figure out these differences between the organization, the institution, and the spirituality that we are all trying to practice. But when you find your community, your village within that spiritual commune, I think it's critically important that that's where the beginning comes from you. I think it's just terribly difficult to find the kind of healing that it is that we long for. I'm not saying that a person is not healed that does their work. All of us are required to do our work. In community.
Absolutely.
All of us have our own individual journeys, but do not lose sight. The detriment is if we lose sight to the necessity to remain connected, because ain't nobody walking their own individual unique path. I mean, yes, God is the first, but Lord, today, come on now, that you get your whole own lane by yourself, just this is, it ain't never been done before.
You the only one being down the path. It only ever happened to you. It's unique to only your family. Absolutely not.
I mean, if that's the case, how then would your witness, your testimony, contribute to helping me? Because the stuff you talking about, I ain't never seen that before.
And what's recorded in the text?
Yes.
How does that dates so far back, but it shows relevance to things that, you know, it gives,
Absolutely. So
wow.
It is. I think one of those things that we do often miss is how reliant we are on each other in order to be our best selves.
Yes, community is the way.
Yeah. So,
and the uplift of community is something that is missing in a way that will inadvertently bring us back to ourselves.
Indeed. These are some of like the when we're talking about, we just came out of observing Mental Health Awareness Month, and there is this kind of dissension between American psychology and the rest of the world. The rest of the world seems to approach psychology as not just this mind thing, but it is the soul. It is the sum total of the being of the individual, right? And that there is no demarcation, there is no bifurcation, but you've got a lot, even in our communities, you've got a lot of people who are now being credentialed in somatic healing and somatic therapy, where they're trying to connect the mind to the body, and all of these things. Those are the things that are of our indigenous histories. And one of the things that I think is one of the greater demarcations between American approaches to psychology and mental wellness and health and the rest of the world is the rest of the world recognizes that the best healing takes place in communities as opposed to some individual prescription or treatment that takes you from community. In isolation, you can be diagnosed as wrong. But it's like I've got a few family members who, in your normal Euro-Western diagnosis and assessment, they're on spectrum. But ain't nothing about spectrum brand new. At all. And whereas in some of these treatments, they would isolate these individuals or just simply group them with others like them in ways that we were raised, there's no, the boy or the girl, she just special. And the community would be involved in figuring out how do we usher this child to their best place. And they wouldn't let you outside of their care because they knew you. This was relational. So they were going to watch out for you. They knew what the little quirks were.
Sometimes they responded to different people. So if you have them isolated, they're docile and they do things differently. But in the community, sometimes there was an uncle that can make them smile more and come out more. So that community made it. It's not new at all. I mean, when I look back now, I think some things I saw in cousins or friends, it was like, even somehow entertainers or people we know publicly, I was like, they've got to be on spectrum. But truly, we wouldn't have gotten out of them the gift or ability or contribution.
I'm trying to tell you.
You know, I feel like, Western medicine and health, they everything has to be kind of a thing, you know. We got to highlight it and.
But it's the approach. But but that has so much to do with, quote unquote, the diagnosis, how it is viewed. In community, it is not viewed as if it is some type of deficit. It's a different, diverse gift that has been brought to the community.
It's different, but not less.
Because we call on that. Grandmama say, baby, I can't count them numbers. Go in there and get that boy. You know he know numbers better than any one of us. And
problem solved.
Problem is solved for the community.
Boom.
So it's I think finding village, finding community, finding your people is critically important. Critically important. And as we all seek to grow and to heal and to, divest ourselves from the ravages of the kind of culture and context we live in, this capitalist, racialized capitalism and coloniality and all of this other mess, misogynoir, patriarchy, all of homophobia, all of these transphobia, all of these things which are hell bent on trying to categorize and separate, as opposed to, no, how does this all work together for the greatest good, for all of us, the beauty in it.
Now, if this resonates, subscribe and share with a friend. Thanks so much, as always, for being a part of this conversation. It's got to be about community, family. We got to get back to what really matters and reapproach and find the strength, the support, the love, the confidence, the courage, the security, the sentimentality, the peace among those who love us and can uphold us. And always remember, it's never too late to be what you might have been. Until the next time, stay funk and stay chic.
Oh, well, if you ask me, any question you ask, the answer is always colonialism.
To prove your pride to others. The past is gone, we venture on, we can't go back. The price is heavy on our souls. Having things already took the tolls. God, we need peace. God, we need peace.
Hey, yo, dig this cosmic grooviness, baby.
Do it take great minds from great minds with hand signs? Cause we've been screaming, baby, it's wake time, it's time to shine.
I am grateful for a circle of people who support my growth, joy, and well-being. I recognize the power of connection to heal, inspire, and sustain me through every season. I choose to contribute my presence, kindness, and listening ears to my community. I celebrate the unique gifts each person brings, knowing we amplify each other's potential. I trust that in the weave of shared stories, challenges become opportunities for learning and resilience. I commit to showing up with empathy, patience, and an open heart even when it's hard. I honor the quiet moments when others need a steady voice, a warm cup, and a hopeful word. I affirm that collaboration creates more than the sum of its parts. Together, we thrive. I release the belief that I must navigate life alone. I am part of a vibrant, supportive network. I nurture our collective well-being by offering encouragement, sharing resources, and lending strength. I celebrate milestones together and hold space for one another during times of transition. I aspire to listen deeply, understand generously, and respond thoughtfully within my community. I cultivate gratitude for people who show up, speak truth with kindness, and walk beside me. I affirm the belonging in daily practice, patient, deliberate, and joyful. I carry forward a sense of responsibility to uplift others, knowing every act of care compounds over time. I trust that mutual support builds courage, confidence, and resilience for us all. I envision communities where diversity is honored, voices are heard, and every person belongs. I affirm that I am not alone. We are interconnected, resilient, and capable of collective shine. I close this moment with gratitude for community and renewed commitment to contribute to its flourishing.